Thinking of moving abroad in 2025? Watch this first. Hey everyone, it's your name, and listen, I'm all about that fire life. Financial independence, retire early. Today we're diving deep into the top 10 countries people regret moving to. We're talking about unexpected costs, visa nightmares, cultures that are tough to adjust to. Stick around because some of these might surprise you, especially the number one spot. Alright, first up, let's talk about culture shock. You see those gorgeous pictures on Instagram, right? Pristine beaches, exotic food, everyone's smiling. But what they don't show is the reality of navigating a totally different culture day in and day out. Imagine this. You move to a country where being precisely on time is considered rude. Or maybe public displays of affection are a huge no-no. These small examples can snowball into major misunderstandings, awkward encounters, even legal trouble. Do your research, talk to people who've actually lived there long-term, and be honest with yourself about whether you're truly up for the challenge. Next up, we're hitting you with the cold, hard truth about money. Because listen, moving abroad doesn't magically make you rich. In fact, it can be downright expensive if you haven't done your homework. Think about it. Visa fees, inflated prices for expats, taxes you didn't even know existed. And if you're planning on working remotely, forget about stable internet in some of these places. And then there's the issue of local salaries. In many of these places, wages are significantly lower than what you're used to, even for skilled jobs. The bottom line is, don't base your decision solely on the cost of a cup of coffee. Alright, let's be real for a second. How many of us are fluent in another language besides English? Probably not many, right? And that's okay, but it does pose a significant challenge when you decide to move to a new country. Because here's the deal, moving to a country where you barely speak the language? That's tough. It's not just about ordering food or asking for directions. It's about integrating into a new culture and society. Sure, you can get by with basic phrases and maybe some hand gestures, and translation apps can be a lifesaver in a pinch. But eventually, it catches up to you. The novelty wears off, and the reality of not understanding the language sets in. Imagine trying to navigate a doctor's appointment, where you need to explain your symptoms accurately and understand the medical advice given to you. Or dealing with a legal issue, where every word matters and misunderstanding could have serious consequences. All while struggling to understand what the heck people are saying. It's stressful, it's isolating, and it can make you feel incredibly vulnerable. The sense of isolation can be overwhelming. You might find yourself sitting alone, feeling disconnected from the world around you, and forget about making genuine connections with locals if you can't hold a conversation beyond hello and thank you. Small talk is the gateway to deeper relationships. If your interactions are limited to basic greetings, you're missing out on the richness of human connection. These become daily challenges when you don't speak the language. Every interaction, no matter how small, becomes a hurdle. Look, I'm not saying you need to be fluent before you even think about moving abroad, but having a basic grasp of the language can make a world of difference. But at least have a basic grasp of the language, and be prepared to put in the work to learn more once you're there. Language classes, apps, and practice with locals can all help. The effort you put into learning the language will pay off in the long run, making your experience abroad richer and more fulfilling. Okay, let's talk about the hidden costs of living abroad, because this is something that catches a lot of people off guard. You see those articles online, right? The cheapest places to live in the world. They make it sound like you can live like royalty on a shoestring budget. But here's the thing. They often leave out some crucial details. First of all, what they consider cheap might still be expensive for you, depending on your lifestyle and where you're coming from. And don't even get me started on imported goods. Then there are the unexpected expenses. The point is, don't just look at the sticker price. So, you're thinking of working abroad? Awesome. The idea of living in a new country, experiencing a different culture, and maybe even learning a new language is incredibly exciting. It's a chance to reinvent yourself and start fresh. But hold on a second before you pack your bags and quit your job. There are a few things you need to consider before making such a big move. Because the job market in some of these countries, yeah, it's not always sunshine and roses. The competition can be fierce and the process can be overwhelming. In fact, finding a decent job can be downright brutal, especially if you don't have the right to work there legally. Visa restrictions and work permits can be major hurdles. First of all, you've got to compete with local talent, and they often have a significant advantage. They know the market, the language, and the cultural nuances. And even if you do manage to land a job, don't expect it to be your dream gig right off the bat. You might have to take a position that's below your skill level just to get your foot in the door. You might have to start at the bottom, even if you have years of experience back home. It's a humbling experience, but it can also be a valuable one. The bottom line? Do your research, network like crazy, and be prepared to hustle. It's not going to be easy, but with determination and the right mindset you can make it work. Just remember, every challenge is an opportunity in disguise. Alright, let's talk about healthcare because this is a big one. You might be young and healthy now, but trust me, you don't want to mess around when it comes to your well-being. First of all, the quality of care can vary wildly. And even if the care is good, it might not be covered by your insurance. Then there's the issue of language barriers. And let's not forget about the availability of medication. The bottom line? Don't take your health for granted. Chapter 7. Weather woes, when paradise gets too hot to handle. Okay, let's be real for a second. Weather can make or break your experience living abroad. And I'm not just talking about a little rain or sunshine. Think about it. Scorching hot summers with unbearable humidity, bone-chilling winters that last for months, monsoon seasons that turn your street into a river. And it's not just about personal comfort either. Extreme weather can lead to power outages, water shortages, and even natural disasters. Plus, you've got to consider the impact on your mental health. The bottom line? Don't underestimate the power of Mother Nature. Chapter 8. Safety check. Is your dream destination a danger zone? Alright, let's talk about safety, because this is non-negotiable. No matter how beautiful or affordable a country might seem, it's not worth risking your personal safety. And unfortunately, some of the most popular expat destinations also happen to have some serious safety concerns. We're talking about things like petty theft, scams targeting foreigners, and even violent crime. And it's not just about physical safety either. The bottom line, do your research, be aware of your surroundings, and take precautions to protect yourself. Chapter 9. The loneliness trap, when you're alone in a crowd. Alright, let's talk about the elephant in the room, loneliness. It's a feeling that can creep up on you even when you're surrounded by people. You might be in a bustling city, a crowded cafe, or a packed subway, yet feel completely isolated. Because as glamorous as moving abroad might seem, it can also be incredibly isolating, especially if you don't speak the language or understand the culture. The excitement of a new adventure can quickly turn into a daunting experience when you realize how much you miss the familiar comforts of home. You're leaving behind your family, your friends, your support system, and starting from scratch in a new place. The goodbyes at the airport are just the beginning. The real challenge comes when you have to navigate daily life without the people who have always been there for you. And sure, you can meet people online, join expat groups, and try to immerse yourself in the local culture. Technology makes it easier to stay in touch with loved ones back home, and social media can help you find communities of like-minded individuals. But it takes time and effort to build meaningful connections, and it's not always easy. Language barriers, cultural differences, and the sheer effort of putting yourself out there can be exhausting. You might find yourself feeling more alone than ever, even in a crowd. The bottom line? Be prepared for periods of loneliness, make an effort to connect with people, and build a support system that can help you through the tough times. Journaling, staying connected through text, and maintaining a hopeful outlook can make a big difference. Remember, it's a journey, and every step you take brings you closer to finding your place in the world. Chapter 10. Bureaucracy breakdown when red tape rules your life. Alright, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, bureaucracy. Because let's be real, dealing with government agencies and paperwork is never fun, but it can be a whole new level of frustrating when you're living abroad. We're talking about things like visa applications, work permits, driver's licenses, and even just opening a bank account. Each country has its own set of rules and regulations, and they can be incredibly complex and time-consuming to navigate. And the worst part? The rules can change at any time without warning. The bottom line? Be prepared for a bureaucratic nightmare. Outroad, don't let your dreams turn into nightmares. So there you have it, the top 10 countries people regret moving to. Look, moving abroad can be an amazing experience, but it's not for everyone. It takes a lot of research, preparation, and a healthy dose of realism. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more real talk about personal finance, investing, and living your best life.